Welcome to Make It Your Business, the podcast. Get the advice you need to grow your business by getting guidance from industry experts and interviews with successful small business owners. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe.
Good morning. Welcome to Make It Your Business, episode 6. Perfect. We're on a roll.
Cool.
This is good. What's in your mind today, dude?
Today, we were talking about working with friends and family.
Yes, I've got opinions about this. Friends and family. Yeah, this.
I've very experienced at work with friends and family, so I got to sort of direct this one to you because I know you've got some experience.
Very difficult. Okay, we're going to make the assumption that you have a business and you're hiring friends or family, yeah?
Okay.
This doesn't exclude you and a friend going in to business together, because I think that's much more, we spoke about it on a previous podcast about business partners setting expectations, who's going to do what. Then it's almost fine. It doesn't matter that you're maritally or blood related. Very different when it's your baby and you invite friends about. Okay, well, let's talk about the positive first. Trust. You can't get a better trust situation. Give you an example. So, one of our businesses, we acquired a minority share, ish. They had a situation where their accounts lady worked for them for 6 years,
Okay.
and stole £48,000 under their nose. The operator was very much a passion of her industry. She loved what she did, and she left the books to the expert. So obviously you can imagine that decimated her trust in people, went to court, blah, 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 and there was no justice, put it that way. So that next hire was her sister,
Okay.
who came in as a number literate person, but who she trusted and had the ability to learn that job, because that's another bit I'll get onto in a moment, because I think what I've seen in the past is people start a business, they say, I can trust my brother, sister, mother, cousin, best friend, and they try and ram, a square peg into a round hole, because it's very much about what that person can add. It's not a charity, it's a business. You can start a charity. Go and start a charity, start a family charity. But if it's your business, its sole purpose is to make money while providing good quality services. You can add a family member to that mix, who then... So stage one, do they have the necessary skills? Not, they could do it, they could learn it. Because you get somebody else down the road, cheaper, more efficient, easier, less emotional baggage. Second one is really... It's a touchy-feely. I can't really put it down to a thing, but it's about them as a person. So I've worked in the past with my wife, my brother, my dad, my uncle, across different businesses.
Yep.
And if your relationship with them is not on a completely equal path, so let's talk about maybe parent and child. So let's say the child starts a business, then hires the parent. There will always be a natural hierarchy confliction of child being boss, parent being world boss, I suppose you could say.
Yep.
And very hard to go away unless you up front talk about it before anything. I've always been very good, so I can and have had very big disagreements with family members at work, and at 5 o'clock going to the pub and had a drink, and so I can switch on and off.
Yeah.
This is business, this is family. I found my work general is most people can't.
Yep.
So it's super important to have that conversation up front. What happens if this happens? What happens if that happens? Because if you don't, they come with expectations. Like, you've hired your brother. Your brother goes through a situation where he's in hardship.
Yep.
I've had something in my life, therefore you as my brother need to give me a pay rise to help me out because we're family. Well, it's very difficult if the business can't afford the pay rise. It's very difficult if that person is underperforming.
Yeah. In terms of discipline and...
Yeah, but not necessarily discipline, but let's just say feedback.
Okay.
Because it can become a personal attack.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to the person saying it, they could be like, look, I'm not very happy with you're consistently late. And that can become a personal thing because of the connection. Well, you know how your nephew is. You know, he kicks me up all night, blah, blah, blah. Now, I'm not saying employers should not have empathy. Of course you should make your work environment as flexible as possible to make people want to work for you. The best talent will come where they get looked after. But it's very much having an understanding off the bat to talk about, look, what happens if this happens? What happens if that happens? That's a super awkward conversation.
No.
But if you don't do that, 1,000-fold awkwardness comes in the back end. And I've not yet had a disagreement that hasn't ended in disaster when it comes to family, because emotions are just through the blood. You've got family, you know it's like. Sometimes the smallest thing, you get up on the wrong side of the bed, and you know it just what's the phrase? Mountain into molding into mountain. Yeah, but it is tough.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's difficult, and like family is difficult at best of times. To have the stress, or like I suppose even like talk about partners as well, partners working with you, and it's like I can imagine that'd be very difficult.
Yes.
Yeah, obviously you're around and sort of
25
at work, and meant to be around.
I don't think my wife would mind me saying that we couldn't work together. We tried. We've got different dynamics at home to at work, but we've got two businesses that are run by husband and wives, and they work extremely well together, and they see the benefit of a shared home and work life.
No.
And we've chatted it through with them. One hat does not fit all. So even going back to the families, I'm not saying to people don't do it.
No.
Would I work with family again? I don't think so. But I am saying to you that the times I've worked with them where I had the awkward conversations up front, it's gone a lot smoother. And again, just don't lose your focus. It is a business. Because, okay, not me personally, but I've had a friend of mine where his parents put the pressure on for him to hire his brother.
Okay.
And that was, I could see it. It was super hard for him because, who wants to disappoint the parents? It's inbred in us as to make our parents proud. And that was super tough. A super awkward situation. That one ended very, very well in the end. But there were times where it's just, family business is just a difficult subject that I think, like all difficult subjects, directly attacked before the event, you can get a lot more fixed and arranged, and the what ifs and the prenup, because you haven't got the emotions. When the event happens, the emotion kicks off, and it can turn. You can literally lose family members over this stuff. So, but as I say, there was a lot there on the negatives. I don't want you to think this is a don't do it, because trust in people. If you've got something, a friend who's very good at what they do, they're committed, they're putting the hours in, that you're all rowing in the same direction for the success of the business, they could be invaluable. But it is tough, and think it through. So,
my friends, it's easier, but you've got to make sure that obviously they've got the right skill for the job. And
yeah, I mean, it's not dissimilar. I would say my personal experience, the difference between friends, again, it's only what's happened to me, is that it's a lot easier to lose a friend over a bad work experience. Generally, family stick around, blood's thicker than water.
Yeah.
But friends is even more fragile in a lot of ways. But like I say, I don't want you to think it's impossible.
Yep.
Because I have a business with one of my top 5 best friends. It's perfectly feasible. But again, you just have to. He looks after this side of the business. I look after that.
Okay.
We meet in the middle, and we try and make time for our friendship outside of work.
What about brushing on like having friends as employees as opposed to business partners?
Not dissimilar. I mean, I've talked about business partner because that's my particular one. But like I say, I have personal. Okay, so I'll give you an example so you understand the sincerity of what I'm saying. I have personally sacked a family member twice.
Okay.
Through poor performance. It's a difficult situation.
Yeah.
So yeah, just think twice. Do the prenup.
Yeah.
Okay, so we spoke about my hiring. I've hired. Yeah, I've interviewed 200 people. I've got conclusions pretty much about being very honest with expectations. Because if you as an employer expect your employees in the building at 10 to 9
yep.
and stay until 5:30, and you put that expectation across and they can meet it,
yep.
Perfect. If you don't and then they don't meet it, then you're in a situation where you feel hurt and despondent. So it's... does that answer your question of everything?
Yeah, no, maybe right.
Very much, yeah. Open conversation up front. Lay down your expectations. You know my views on journaling. You can sit there before you just write your thoughts out.
Yep.
And just have that honest conversation. What would it feel like if this happened? What if it reviewed? What if I decided to sell? What if there was a recession? I had to let you go. How would you tackle these bits? Because it's the emotion that causes the problem, not the actual event.
As you say, it's getting those expectations aligned from day one, isn't it? So that you know what you expect of them, and they know what they're supposed to be doing.
Yes. And what they expect from you, because that's also important. We as business owners always think about us and them. It's actually them and us. What do they expect? Because you will find that some family friends expect an easier ride because you're their friend. Oh, I thought we'd have fun and like we always do down the pub. I thought that's what we were going to do 40 hours a week. So yeah, super important to just have that. And Roxy. You want to be on the podcast?
Just give me the next one.
Yeah. Right.
Cool.
Thanks, dude.
All right. Cheers.
There we go.